So how many of you have seen yourselves on video before? Love it. Now besides the home and wedding videos? Yes?
Yeah.
Oh good. Excellent. Fantastic. And I know one person took Speakeasy. Anybody else take other classes? Okay, so there's something there. So at least you won't be shocked by your first video. Now I'll tell you my role. First of all, my name is Karen Habegger. Almost like hamburger, but not quite. The important thing, just remember Karen, like I tell people, I care about you. At least for the 2 days that we're together. Okay. But what my role is to take you out of this room privately. We'll watch your video. We'll look at the things you're doing well, and we'll also look at the things you want to improve. Because obviously you're not here just to look at all the things you're doing great. The only way that we can grow is really to look at the things we want to change. So we call those pivot points. We're going to give you 2 pivot points at a time. 1 to 2, somewhere in that category. Just like professional athletes, we don't give you more than 1 thing at a time or 2 to work on. And you've spent your entire lives establishing the habits that you have now. So be gentle with yourselves, but let Sonia and I push you as well. We call them pivot points because they're the 2 pivotal things that will make the most difference in how you're coming across. So you'll get to hear that term quite a bit, and that's why we hone in on it, because Sonia will ask you maybe at a break, hey, what did Karen give you for pivot points? And I'll be continuing to make sure, as well as encouraging you, I'm also your accountability partner. Are you working on the things that you want to be working on? So that's my role, cheerleader and accountability partner. A little bit about me from a personal perspective. I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I grew up with 6 older brothers, so I was the baby girl, big family. My mom and dad wanted to have a girl, so they kept trying and finally got me and then said, we're done. And I wanted to go east for college. It was either actually east or west. I chose east, got a degree in psychology at Lafayette College, outside of Philadelphia. But my dream really, I still have the journals when I was a teenager writing, I can't wait to get away from mom and dad and move to San Francisco. And that's actually what I ended up doing. I still love my parents, don't get me wrong, but 16 years ago now, I packed up my bags and traveled cross country, and I landed in San Francisco. Welcome, welcome. Hi. We've got Carol up here. Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. Excellent. Thanks, Celeste. So I packed up my bags, drove cross country, and I've never left. I love living in the Bay Area. But from a professional standpoint, my background primarily is in HR, under the umbrella of training and development. I started as a recruiter, then I moved into various HR management roles with the Gap and Wells Fargo, and most recently I was HR director of Gensler Architecture, a large architecture firm that's based in San Francisco, but it's more of a boutique firm. But I'll tell you, I got really tired of employment law changing constantly and all of the benefits questions that people would come into my office and ask. Very relevant questions, but just not my passion, okay? What I decided to do is start my own business. I left there because I wanted to focus on helping people grow and develop. So I left there focusing on accomplished women who are stressed out and depleted. And that was my business for a number of years, coaching different levels of people in that to make their lives easier. But as luck would have it, as many of you know, you don't necessarily go to school to get a certain job, although some people do. But I met Bert Decker, who's our founder. I met him through his wife at their house once for dinner. Had no idea who Bert Decker was. I knew his wife, and then I noticed all of these things as I was sitting at the table for dinner. He had different things up on the wall, like books and tape series and a picture of him on the Today Show, and I'm thinking, who are you? Like, I think I need to be a part of this. And he said, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a trainer. And he said, oh my gosh, well, we need people. Kelly's pregnant with his daughter-in-law. She and his son, Ben, run the company. So this was 5 years ago now that we relaunched, and I came on shortly after the relaunch. And what I love about working here and how this all relates back to you is that you actually will see a difference in how you come across in just one day. You'll actually see it already this morning, but you're probably going to see, you'll definitely see even more by the end of today and for sure tomorrow. Now you might not believe me now, but there's nothing like video to motivate us to change a few things. Maybe you've seen yourself on video, but maybe it's been a while. And even so, it's really amazing how that video does motivate you. Now, one little unique thing about me, years ago, I've always loved travel. With Decker, we travel about 50% of the time. But years ago, 20 years ago now, I traveled in a performing group and I lived on the road for 3 years, and it was called Up With People. So some people have heard of it, some haven't, but it was really fun to live on the road and do singing and dancing in a variety of different countries and continents. So that's just a little bit about me.